The massive Catharian space station floated like a jewel against the stars. Its golden towers stretched for miles, each one carved with ancient symbols that glowed with soft blue light. Inside the grand throne room, Princess Nara Valthara stood. Beside her father's throne, watching the viewing screen with barely hidden boredom. "They call themselves humans," Emperor Taman said, his voice carrying the weight of 3,000 years. "A young race that has barely left their home planet. They want to trade with us." Nara nodded politely. She had lived for 127 years, which was still young for a Catharian. Her long silver hair fell like water down her back, and her violet eyes held the wisdom of her ancient bloodline. She wore the ceremonial robes of her station, deep purple with gold threading that marked her as the heir to the throne. "Why do we bother with them, father?" she asked quietly. The emperor smiled coldly. "Entertainment, my daughter. And perhaps they have something useful to offer. Their mining technology is surprisingly advanced for such a primitive species, Lord." Dahayan Korath stepped forward from his place among the nobles. He was tall and handsome, with the perfect features that came from 10,000 years of careful breeding. His family had been chosen to unite with the royal line, and he would soon become Nara's husband. "Your Majesty," Dahayan said with a bow, "should we not be careful? These humans might carry diseases or corrupt our pure bloodlines with their presence." "They will not be here long," the emperor replied. "We will listen to their proposal, take what we need, and send them away." The human ship appeared on the viewing screen. It was small and crude compared to Catharian vessels, made of simple metal and powered by fusion engines. The ship's name was written in human letters, New Soul. "They named their ships after their cities," Nara observed. "How strange." "Everything about them is strange," Dahayan said with disgust. "I have studied their files. They live barely 100 years, yet they think they can achieve greatness. They fight among themselves constantly and destroy their own planet with pollution." The human delegation was brought to the throne room under heavy guard, Nara expected, to see the primitive creatures she had heard about in the reports. Instead, she found herself looking at beings that were surprisingly similar to Catharians, though shorter and with different skin tones. The leader of the humans stepped forward. He was young, perhaps 28 in human years, with dark hair and kind eyes. He wore a simple blue uniform with no decoration, except a small badge that showed his rank. "Am Hyan Kim," he said, bowing deeply in the Catharian style, "represent the Earth Colonial Authority. We thank your Majesty for allowing us to visit your great empire." Nara was surprised. His pronunciation of their formal language was perfect, and his bows showed proper respect. Most visitors from lesser species made mistakes that showed their ignorance. "You speak our language well," Emperor Taman said, though his tone remained cold. "I have studied your culture for many years, your Majesty," Hyan replied. "Your people have created wonders that inspire all who see them. The poetry of Master the Joan from the Second Dynasty speaks of beauty beyond the physical realm. As he wrote, 'The heart that sees truth needs no eyes. For wisdom flows like starlight through the soul.'" A shocked silence filled the throne room. Nara felt her breath catch in her throat. The poem Hyan had quoted was ancient, written over 8,000 years ago. Even many Catharian nobles had forgotten those old verses. "You know the works of Master the June?" Nara asked before she could stop herself. Hyan turned to her and smiled. "Yes, your Highness. His writings about the connection between all living things changed how I see the universe. I have spent many nights studying the old texts, trying to understand the wisdom of your ancestors." Dahayan stepped forward with anger in his voice. "Human cannot understand our sacred poetry. You've probably memorized those words without knowing their meaning." "Perhaps," Hyan said gently. "But I believe Master the Jin wrote about truths that belong to all thinking beings, a desire to find beauty, to protect others, to seek knowledge. These are not limited to any one species." "Enough," the Emperor said sharply. "State your business, human." Hyan straightened and spoke clearly. "We come seeking trade agreements, your Majesty. Earth has developed new mining techniques that can extract rare minerals without harming planetary ecosystems. We offer this technology in exchange for access to the trilithium deposits in the Outer Rim." "And what makes you think we need your primitive technology?" Lord Daehain asked with a sneer. Because your current mining methods are destroying 3 planets in the Vega system, Haiyan Wu replied calmly. Our scientists have studied the environmental reports. In 50 years, those worlds will be uninhabitable. Can help you extract the minerals you need while saving the planets. The throne room fell silent again. Nada stared at the human in amazement. No one had ever spoken so directly to the Imperial Court about their failures. Yet Haiyan Wu showed no fear, only genuine concern for worlds he had never seen. You dare criticize our methods? General Wujin Valdris stepped forward, his hand moving to his weapon. I do not criticize, Haiyan Wu said. I offer assistance. My species has made many mistakes with our own planet. We learned from those errors and developed better ways. Perhaps we can share that knowledge to prevent future suffering.
How suddenly.
Alarms began blaring throughout the station. The lights flickered, and the viewing screen showed emergency warnings. An explosion had damaged the human ship's life support system. Both human and Catherian crew members were trapped in the damaged section. The fusion reactor is unstable, a technician reported. If it explodes, it will destroy both ships. Without hesitation, Haiyan Wu ran toward the exit. I know that system. I can shut it down safely. Stop him, Daehain, ordered the guards. Let him go, Nara said suddenly. Everyone turned to stare at her. If he can help, we should let him try. The Emperor nodded slowly. Go. But if this is some trick, it is. Not a trick, Haiyan Wu said as he ran. I will not let anyone die if I can prevent it. Through the viewing screen, they watched as Haiyan Wu entered the damaged section of his ship. The radiation levels were dangerous, but he worked quickly to shut down the failing reactor. When a beam fell toward a trapped Catherian engineer, Haiyan Wu pushed the alien to safety, taking the impact himself. After 20 long minutes, the reactor was stable. Haiyan Wu emerged from the ship with burns on his arms and face, but he was smiling. Everyone is safe, he reported. The damage can be repaired. Nara looked at this strange human who had risked his life for people he barely knew. The reports had prepared her for someone like him. He was brave, intelligent, and genuinely caring about others. For the first time in her long life, Princess Nara felt something stirring in her heart that had nothing to do with duty or royal blood. She watched as the human delegation was escorted away, and she found herself hoping this would not be the last time she saw Haiyan Wu. Kim, the man who had quoted ancient poetry and saved lives without thought for his own safety, had done something no one thought possible. He'd impressed the heir to the Catherian throne. 3 days had passed since the human delegation arrived at the Catherian capital. Princess Nara found herself assigned to escort them through the Imperial archives. A task she normally would have given to a lesser noble, but something about the human named Haiyan Wu made her curious. These records go back 12,000 years, Nara explained as they walked through the vast library. The walls were covered with crystal storage devices that glowed softly in the dim light. Each crystal contains the complete history of an entire world. Dr. So-Young Park, the human cultural expert, stared in wonder at the ancient technology. Amazing. On Earth, we struggle to preserve records for more than a few centuries. That is because your species is young, Nara said, though not unkindly. You have not learned the importance of memory. Haiyan Wu stopped in front of a particular crystal that seemed different from the others. It was darker, almost black, and no light came from within it. What about this one? It looks dead. It has been that way for 3,000 years, Nara replied. My tutors said it contains records from the very beginning of our empire, but something went wrong with the storage matrix. No one has been able to activate it since. Without thinking, Haiyan Wu reached out and touched the crystal. The moment his fingers made contact, the dark stone burst into brilliant light. Ancient symbols began flowing across its surface, and a holographic display appeared in the air above it. Nara stepped back in shock. That is impossible. Only those of royal blood can activate the archive crystals. I do not understand, Haiyan Wu said, staring at his hand. I just touched it. The hologram showed images of a planet that looked surprisingly familiar. Green continents, blue oceans, and a single large moon. Dr. So-Young gasped. That looks like Earth. But how can that be? The display is showing the homeworld of the First Dynasty, Nara whispered, but the records say it was destroyed long ago. More images appeared. They showed people who looked like a mixture of humans and Catherians working together to build great cities. Yeah, the technology was advanced but different from what either species use now. According to this, Dr. So-Young said, reading the translated text, both our species came from the same world. The Catherians left during some great disaster, while the humans stayed behind. That cannot be true, Nara said firmly. Bloods are pure. We are the chosen people of the stars. But even as she spoke, she felt doubt creeping into her mind. Yeah. The images were too detailed to be false. And the crystal had responded to Hien Wu's touch in a way that should have been impossible. Your Highness, Hien Wu said gently, what if the disaster separated our people so long ago that we forgot we were once the same? Oh. What if the differences between us are not as great as we believed? Before Nara could answer, footsteps echoed. Through the archive chamber, Lord Daehan appeared with a group of Imperial guards, his face dark with anger. What is the meaning of this? He demanded, looking at the activated crystal. How did these primitives gain access to our most sacred records? The human activated it somehow, Nara said carefully. We were just studying the historical data. Human cannot activate our technology, Daehan snarled. This must be some kind of trick. He turned to the guards. Arrest them for tampering with Imperial property. Wait, Nara said quickly. Let me study this further. If there is deception, I will uncover it. Daehan looked like he wanted to argue, but he could not refuse a direct order from the princess. Very well, but I will be watching them closely. After the guards left, Nara led the humans to a private study room. Her mind was racing with questions she had never thought to ask before. Tell me about your planet, she said to Hien Wu. What do you know about your ancient history? Not much, he admitted. Our oldest records only go back 10,000 years. Before that, there are only legends about a great catastrophe that nearly destroyed our world. At the same time, our people left the homeworld, Nara whispered. That night, Nara could not sleep. She kept thinking about the crystal and the impossible things it had shown them. Finally, she decided to visit her old tutor, Master Kunjo Sylvain. She found the ancient scholar in his private chambers, reading by candlelight as he had done for centuries. Master, she said, I need to ask you about something. Have you ever heard stories about humans being related to our people? The old man looked up sharply. Where did you hear such things? From the archives. Human activated one of the dead crystals, and it showed images of our species living together on the same world. Master Kunjo was silent for a long moment. Then he closed his book and looked at her with serious eyes. There are old stories, he said slowly, legends that most scholars dismiss as myth. They speak of a time when our people were not alone in the galaxy. What kind of legends? They say that long ago, there was a great war that threatened to destroy all life. Our ancestors fled to the stars to preserve their culture and bloodlines. But others stayed behind to fight the darkness, believing that running away was wrong. Nara felt a chill run down her spine, and those who stayed. They survived, but at great cost. The war changed them, made them shorter-lived, but more adaptable. The legends say that one day, the two branches of the family tree would meet again among the stars. Do you believe these stories? Master Kuncho smiled sadly. I have lived for 2,000 years, child. I have seen many things that were supposed to be impossible. If a human can activate our ancient technology, perhaps the legends are more than just stories. The next morning, Nara returned to the archives with new questions. She found Hoyangwu already there, studying the crystal displays with intense concentration. I have been thinking about what we saw yesterday, she said. My tutor told me old stories that might explain it. As she shared the legends, Heian Wu nodded thoughtfully. On Earth, we have similar tales. Stories of people who came from the stars long ago, and others who went to find new homes among the distant suns. What if it is all true? Nara asked. What if our people really are connected? Then everything your empire believes about genetic purity would be wrong, Heian Wu said quietly. And everything my people believe about being alone in the universe would be wrong too. They looked at each other across the space between them, both realizing that they had discovered something that could change the fate of two entire species. The question was whether anyone would believe them, and what would happen if they did, in the shadows of the archive chamber. Neither of them noticed the small recording device that Lord Daehyun had hidden among the crystals. Every word they had spoken was being transmitted directly to the Emperor's private chambers. The forbidden knowledge they had uncovered would soon become the most dangerous secret in the galaxy. Princess Nara stood on the observation deck of the medical facility, watching Hyunwoo work alongside Catherian doctors in the plague ward below. For 3 days, he had volunteered to help treat the mysterious illness that was spreading through the lower districts of the capital. "He does not have to do this," said Dr. Soyoung Park, who stood beside her. "The plague only affects Catherians. Humans are immune." "Then why does he risk exposure to help people who are not his own kind?" Nara asked. "Because that is who he is," Soyoung replied with a smile. Hyunwoo has always believed that suffering is suffering, no matter who experiences it. Below them, Hyunwoo was holding the hand of a young Catherian child whose parents had died from the plague. The boy was crying, and Hyunwoo was speaking softly to him in perfect Catherian, telling him stories about Earth's animals to distract him from his fear. Nara felt something strange happen in her chest. Her heart seemed to beat faster, and she found herself thinking about Hyunwoo even when he was not around. These feelings confused her. She was supposed to marry Lord Daehyun and produce heirs for the Empire. Personal desires were not supposed to matter. "Your Highness," came a voice behind her. Nara turned to see Master Kung Ho approaching with a worried expression. "I need to speak with you privately." They walked to a quiet corner of the medical facility. The old scholar looked around to make sure they were alone before speaking. "I have been researching the old texts since our last conversation," he said. "I found something disturbing." "What is it?" "The legends speak of a genetic bond that can form between members of the original bloodline. It happens very rarely, perhaps once in 10,000 years. When it does occur, it creates a connection that goes beyond normal love or attraction." Nara felt her face grow warm. What kind of connection? Shared dreams, emotional resonance, the ability to sense each other's thoughts and feelings across great distances. "The old texts say it only happens when the bloodlines are meant to reunite. You think this is happening to me?" Master Kung Ho studied her face carefully. "Have you been having unusual dreams since the human arrived?" Nara hesitated. The truth was that she had been experiencing vivid dreams about places she had never seen. In them, she walked through forests under an alien sky, always searching for someone, just out of sight. She had assumed they were just stress dreams caused by her upcoming marriage. Perhaps she admitted. "And do you feel drawn to the human in ways that cannot be explained by normal attraction?" Again, Nara could not deny it. Every time she saw Hyunwoo, she felt like she was seeing someone she had known all her life. His presence calmed her in a way that nothing else could. "What does this mean?" she asked. "It means the genetic memories are awakening," Master Kyun Ho said seriously. "Your bloodline recognizes his as its original match. This is not just attraction, child. This is destiny, calling across the centuries." That evening, Nara visited her mother, Empress Jungmi, in the royal gardens. The older woman was tending to flowers that had been brought from distant worlds, each one a symbol of the Empire's reach across the galaxy. "Mother, I need to ask you something important," Nara said. "What do you know about the true origins of our people?" Empress Jungmi's hand stilled on the flowers. Why do you ask such a question?" "Because I think everything we believe about our history might be wrong." The Empress was quiet for a long moment. Then she sat down on a marble bench and gestured for Nara to join her. "I've suspected for centuries that our official history was incomplete," she said finally. "There are too many gaps, too many contradictions. But I never spoke of it because the truth would be dangerous." "What truth?" "Is that we are not the original inhabitants of this galaxy. That we fled from somewhere else long ago and left part of our family behind." She looked at her daughter with sad eyes. "I believe the humans are our lost brothers and sisters, changed by time and hardship, but still part of the same bloodline." Nara felt relief flood through her. Then you understand why I feel drawn to the human diplomat. I understand more than you know, Jungmi said. I have been watching you both. The way you look at each other, the way you seem to complete each other's thoughts. It reminds me of the old stories about bonded pairs. Father will never allow it, Nara said. He sees humans as inferior beings. Your father is afraid, the Empress replied. He has ruled for 3,000 years by maintaining the myth of Cytherian superiority. If the people learn that we are not the chosen race, but simply one branch of a larger family tree, his authority will crumble. What should I do? Before Jungmi could answer, they heard footsteps approaching. Emperor Taemin emerged from the shadows with Lord Daehyun at his side. Both men looked angry. So it is true, the Emperor said coldly. My daughter has been corrupted by these primitive humans. Father, please listen, Nara began. Silence, Taemin roared. I have heard the recordings of your conversations with the human. You speak of shared bloodlines and genetic bonds as if they were fact instead of fantasy. They are fact, Nara said, standing up straight. Evidence is there for anyone willing to see it. The only evidence I see is a daughter who has forgotten her duty to her people, the Emperor replied. You will marry Lord Daehyun tomorrow, and the human delegation will be executed for corrupting the royal bloodline. No, Nara stepped forward. You cannot kill innocent people because of your fear. I can do whatever is necessary to protect the Empire, Taemin said. Guards, arrest the human delegation. They will be executed at dawn. If you harm them, you will have to kill me too, Nara said defiantly. The Emperor stared at his daughter for a long moment. In her eyes, he saw the same determination that had helped him rule for millennia, but now it was turned against him. Well, he said finally, you have made your choice. You are no longer my daughter. As the guards moved to arrest the humans, Nara felt something awakening inside her. It was as if a voice from across the ages was telling her to protect what was precious, no matter the cost. She looked at her mother, who gave her a small nod of encouragement. Then she looked at Daehyun, who was staring at her with hatred in his eyes. I am sorry, she whispered to him, but I cannot marry someone I do not love. That night, as the guards prepared to execute the human delegation, Princess Nara made a decision that would change the fate of the galaxy. She would save the man who had awakened her heart, even if it meant betraying everything she had been taught to believe. The 10,000-year reign of royal purity was about to face its greatest challenge, and it would come from within the royal family itself. The alarm bells rang across the imperial capital as Princess Nara's personal ship lifted off from the palace landing bay. Inside the stolen vessel, she piloted desperately while the human delegation prepared for the chase they knew would come.
Ow.
Security codes I used will only work for another hour, Nara said, her hands flying over the controls. After that, every ship in the fleet will be hunting us. Hyenwu sat in the co-pilot's seat, amazed by how naturally he seemed to understand the Cytherian flight systems. I can help navigate, he said. Somehow I know how to read these displays. The genetic bond is strengthening, Nara explained. The closer we become, the more our abilities will merge. Behind them, Dr. So-Young Park was treating the burns on Captain Dongwu Chun's arm. The human military officer had been injured during their escape from the palace prison. Your Highness, Captain, Chen said through gritted teeth, you did not have to risk everything for us. We knew the dangers when we came here. You risked your lives to help my people during the plague, Nara replied. Honor demands that I return the favor. The communication system crackled to life. Prince Jinho's voice filled the cabin, full of pain and anger. Sister, please stop this madness. Father has given me no choice but to hunt you down. I know this is hard for you, Jinho, Nara said into the com. But I cannot let innocent people die because of Father's fears. You speak of Father's fears? But what about the Empire? What about our people? If you destroy the foundations of our society, chaos will follow. Maybe some chaos is better than a lie, Nara replied. Maybe our people deserve to know the truth about who they really are. Conversation ended abruptly as Imperial fighters appeared on the scanner. Prince Jinho was leading the pursuit himself, torn between duty to his father and love for his sister. He will not fire on us, Nara said confidently. But the other pilots will. Energy bolts flashed past their ship as the fighters opened fire. Nara pushed the engines to their limits, diving toward the surface of a nearby moon. The rocky terrain provided cover, but it would not hide them for long. There, Hyanwu pointed to a cave entrance. "We can hide the ship in there," as they landed. In the cavern, Nara felt something she had never experienced before. She could sense Hyanwu's thoughts and emotions as if they were her own. The bond between them was growing stronger with each passing hour. "What is happening to us?" she asked. "I think we are becoming what our ancestors were meant to be," Hyanwu replied. Two parts of a whole reunited after centuries of separation. Outside the cave, they could hear the sound of search ships passing overhead. They would have to move soon. But where could they go? The entire empire was looking for them now. "I know a place," Nara said suddenly. "The neutral zone. There are traitors and outcasts there who do not follow imperial law." They waited until the search ships moved on, then lifted off again. The journey to the neutral zone took 6 hours, during which Nara told Hyanwu about the strange dreams she had been having. "I see the same things," he said in wonder. "Forests under a blue sky, cities that blend nature with technology, people who look like both our species living together in peace." "Genetic memories," Nara said. "We are remembering the world our ancestors shared." The neutral zone was a collection of space stations and asteroid mining facilities that existed in the border region between the Catherian Empire and the outer colonies. Here, refugees from many worlds had gathered to escape the rigid laws of the major powers. They docked at a station called Haven Point, where Nara's royal robes drew unwanted attention. A grizzled Catherian trader named Junwu approached them. "Princess Nara," he said with a bow. "I heard on the channels that you have been declared a traitor. What brings you to this forgotten corner of space?" "I am looking for others like me," Nara said. "People who question the Empire's version of history." The trader's eyes widened. "Follow me. There are things you need to see." He led them through the station's corridors to a hidden chamber deep in the lower levels. Inside, they found a group of people who looked like mixtures of human and Catherian features. Some were tall with silver hair but human-colored eyes, were shorter with pointed ears, but human skin tones. "Welcome to the Order of the Lost," Junwu said. "We are the descendants of those who refused to choose between the two branches of the family tree." An elderly woman stepped forward. She had the height of a Catherian, but the warm brown eyes of a human. "I am Elder Mira. We have been waiting for you, Princess." "Waiting for me?" "The prophecies speak of a time when the royal bloodline would awaken to the truth. When that happened, the reunification would begin." She looked at Hyanwu. "And you are the key that unlocks her potential." Elder Mira led them to a chamber filled with artifacts from the ancient homeworld. In the center stood a crystal similar to the one Hyanwu had activated in the Imperial Archives, but this one was much larger. "Touch it together," Mira instructed. "Let the memories flow through you both." When Nara and Hyanwu placed their hands on the crystal simultaneously, the chamber filled with light. Images flooded their minds, not just pictures. The actual memories passed down through their genes. They saw the original homeworld in its glory, where their ancestors had built a civilization that spanned the continents. They saw the coming of the darkness, a plague that turned people into monsters. They saw the great debate that split their people, some believing they should flee to the stars, others insisting they should stay and fight. The Catherians were the ones who left, Elder Myra explained. They believed that preserving their pure bloodline was more important than fighting the darkness. The humans were the ones who stayed, accepting genetic modification that made them shorter-lived, but more adaptable. "Both sides were right," Hyanwu said softly.
I see.
The Catherians preserved the old knowledge and culture. The humans developed the strength to survive and adapt. "And now you represent the reunion of both paths," Mira said. "Your children will combine the best of both bloodlines." Their moment of revelation was interrupted by alarms. Imperial ships had found the station and were demanding that the princess be turned over to them. "Lord Daehin leads the fleet," Junwu reported. "He is demanding to speak with you personally." Nara felt her heart sink. Her former betrothed had always been proud and ambitious, but now his pride had been wounded by her rejection. She knew he would not show mercy. "I will speak with him," she said. Daehyun's face appeared on the communication screen, twisted with anger and pain. "You humiliated me in front of the entire court," he said. "You chose a primitive human over the noble, the bloodline of my family." "I chose love over duty," Nara replied. "I chose truth over lies. You chose destruction over order," Daehyun snarled. "But I will not let you corrupt our people with your alien fantasies. Surrender now, and I will make your death quick." "Will not surrender," Nara said. "And I will not let you destroy innocent people because of your wounded pride." The communication ended, and the first energy blasts began striking the station. The battle for the truth had begun. It would determine the fate of both species. As the station shook under the Imperial assault, Nara made a decision that would change everything. She would not run anymore. She would stand and fight for the end. Right of her people to know their true history. The royal rebellion had begun. The human colony of New Busan burned under the Catharian assault. From the bridge of the human battleship Seoul, Commander Biora Kim watched her brother's adopted world disappear in flames. The war had been raging for 3 months, and the superior technology of the Catharian Empire was slowly crushing human resistance. "Status report," Biora commanded, her voice steady despite the horror on the view screen. 12 colonies have fallen," reported her tactical officer. "The Catharians are using weapons we have never seen before. Our shields cannot stop them." "What?" "Our counterattacks, minimal damage to their fleets. Their ships are too advanced and they have too many of them." Biora closed her eyes for a moment, thinking of her brother Haeonwoo. The last message from him had come from the neutral zone, where he and the Catharian princess were trying to stop this war before it consumed both species. "Sir," came a voice from the communication station. "We are receiving a transmission from Earth Command. President Jaemin Chen wants to speak with you." The president's face appeared on the screen, showing the strain of leading humanity's desperate fight for survival. "Commander Kim, I need you to know that we are preparing for the worst. If the Catharians break through our final defenses, we will activate the Nova Protocol." Biora felt her blood run cold. The Nova Protocol was humanity's last desperate weapon, a way to turn their own sun into a supernova that would destroy everything within 50 light years. It would kill both species, but it would prevent the Catharians from wiping out humanity completely. "Sir, surely there must be another way," she said. "I hope so," the president replied. "But we cannot let 10,000 years of human civilization be erased because of one empire's arrogance." On the other side of the galaxy, Lord Daehyun stood on the bridge of the Imperial flagship Eternal Glory. Watching the reports from the front lines, the war was going well, but victory was taking longer than expected. "The humans fight with surprising skill," reported Admiral Haijin Korath, his sister and the fleet's tactical commander. "They adapt to our strategies faster than any opponent we have faced." "They are desperate," Daehyun replied. "Desperate creatures fight harder than they should." "Perhaps," Haijin said carefully, "but I am beginning to wonder if we underestimated them. Their technology may be inferior, but their tactics are creative. They fight like they have nothing to lose." "'Cause they do have nothing to lose," Daehyun said coldly. "Either we destroy them, or they destroy us. There can be no peace with creatures who corrupt our bloodlines." Unknown to both fleets, a small ship was racing between the battle lines. Princess Nara and Haeonwoo were desperately trying to reach the leaders of both sides before the war reached its final, destructive phase. "The genetic bond is complete," Nara said, as they flew through the dangerous space between the warring fleets. "I can feel your thoughts as clearly as my own, and I can understand Catharian technology as if I had studied it for centuries," Haeonwoo replied. "We are becoming something new, something that belongs to both species." Their ship was detected by a human patrol, and they were brought aboard the battleship Seoul. Commander Biora Kim stared at her brother in amazement. "Haeonwoo, we thought you were dead," she said, embracing him. "Reports said you were captured by the Catharians." "I was," he said, "but things changed." "Biora, I want you to meet Princess Nara. She is the reason I am still alive." Biora looked at the tall, elegant woman with silver hair and violet eyes. Even in simple clothing, she carried herself with the dignity of royalty. "Your Highness," Biora said with a bow. "I am honored to meet you, though I wonder why you are here." "To stop this war," Nara said simply. "Both our species are destroying themselves over lies and misunderstandings." "The Catharians started this war," Biora replied angrily. "They declared us inferior and began exterminating our colonies." "Because they feared the truth," Nara said. "They fear that humans and Catharians are actually the same people, separated by time and circumstance." Biora looked at her brother in confusion. What is she talking about? Haiyan quickly explained everything they had discovered about the shared origins of both species. As he spoke, Biora's expression changed from disbelief to wonder. "If this is true," she said finally, "then we are destroying our own family." "It is true," Nara said. "And if we do not stop this war soon, both species will be extinct within a year." Meanwhile, on the Catharian flagship, Emperor Temin was receiving disturbing reports from his intelligence network. Dr. Sung-Ho Park, the human scientist, had been broadcasting research data that supported the theory of shared origins. "The humans are spreading lies about our sacred bloodline," the Emperor told his war council. "They claim that we are related to them, that we are not the chosen people of the stars." "Even if it were true," said General Wujin Valdris, "would it matter? We have evolved beyond them. You're superior in every way," "No," said a new voice. General Myung Valdris, Wujin's daughter, stepped forward. "I have been studying the human tactics. They are not inferior. They are different. They think in ways that we cannot predict." "You sound like you admire them," the Emperor said dangerously. "I respect them," Myung replied. "They fight with honor and they protect their own with courage that matches our finest warriors." "Enough," Temin commanded. "We will not be swayed by sentiment. Humans must be destroyed before their lies corrupt our people." But even as the Emperor spoke, doubt was spreading through the Catharian ranks. The war was taking too long, costing too many lives. Some officers were beginning to question whether the destruction of humanity was worth the price. The turning point came when Prince Jinho received a secret message from his sister. In it, she shared the genetic memories she had recovered, showing him the truth about their origins. "Brother," her message said, "I know you have always believed in honor above all else. Is there honor in destroying people who share our blood? Is there honor in perpetuating lies that will lead to the extinction of both our species?" Jinho stared at the images from the ancient homeworld, seeing the undeniable similarities between humans and Catharians. For the first time in his life, he began to question everything he had been taught. The war reached its climax when the Catharian fleet surrounded Earth itself. Emperor Temin had decided to end the conflict by destroying the human homeworld, believing that this would finally crush their resistance. "Prepare the planet killer weapon," he commanded. "We will turn their world into a lifeless rock." But as the massive weapon charged, a small ship appeared between the Catharian fleet and Earth. It was Nara and Haiyan Wu, making one final desperate attempt to prevent the destruction of both species. Father Nara broadcast to the entire fleet, "I know you can hear me. Please, listen to what I have to say. The weapon you are about to use will not just destroy Earth. It will destroy the last hope for both our peoples to survive." The Emperor's face appeared on screens throughout the fleet. "You have betrayed everything we stand for, daughter. You have chosen alien corruption over the purity of our bloodline." "I have chosen truth over lies," Nara replied. "And I have chosen love over hate." As she spoke, something unprecedented happened. The genetic bond between her and Haiyan Wu had grown so strong that it was affecting the technology around them. Catharian ships throughout the fleet began responding to Haiyan Wu's thoughts. While human vessels found themselves able to understand Catharian communication frequencies, the two species were becoming one. Whether their leaders wanted it or not, the final battle was about to begin. The space around Earth filled with the light of 1,000 weapons as the final battle began. Emperor Temin's planet killer weapon charged to full power. Its energy beam capable of turning the human homeworld into molten rock, but Princess Nara and Hyan Wu stood in its path. Their small ship, a fragile barrier between destruction and survival. "Move aside, daughter," the Emperor commanded. "You cannot stop what must be done." "I will not let you destroy innocent people," Nara replied, her voice carrying across all communication channels. "And I will not let you destroy the truth." As the weapon fired, something extraordinary happened. The genetic bond between Nara and Hyan Wu had grown so powerful that it created a bridge between their minds and the technology around them. The energy beam, designed to destroy planets, instead spread harmlessly around their ship, like water around a stone. Throughout both fleets, soldiers and officers watched in amazement as the impossible became reality. Catherian weapon systems began shutting down on their own. Human ships found themselves able to interface with alien technology they had never seen before. "What is happening?" demanded General Wujin Valdris. "The bloodlines are reuniting," said his daughter Mi Young, wonder in her voice. "The genetic memories are awakening in everyone who carries the original DNA." On the human flagship, Commander Boer Akim felt strange sensations flowing through her mind. Suddenly, she could understand Catherian tactical displays as if she had studied them for years. Round her, other human officers were experiencing similar awakenings. "The princess was right," she whispered. "We really are the same people." Emperor Taemin stared at the readings from his weapon systems. The planet killer had failed, but not because of any technical malfunction.